Hello everyone, my name is Fullhouse and welcome back to Versus. When I got Gran Turismo Sport, this was the car I was most looking forward to. It was one I thought should have been in GT6, but well, the wait was worth it. If you see, my very first review on this channel was an F-Type R, and I absolutely loved it. It was a blast to drive and it was much more well behaved than I thought. However, as it turns out, this car has some competition in the form of the Lexus LC500. Looking at the specs, it doesn't really seem like much competition. The Jaguar has a load more horsepower. It's sitting at 542 horsepower as opposed to Lexus's relatively puny 469 horsepower. And in terms of weight, it has that beat too, at 3,638 pounds versus the Lexus's 4,277 pounds. However, we'll never really know which one drives best until we get them both on the track. Since I've driven the F-Type here before, I feel like that should be where I start. Now, there have been some changes in the handling and physics model in the game since I drove this last, so it might be slightly faster, it might be slightly slower, or it might be exactly the same. It honestly, just from what I can feel right now, it feels a little bit grippier than it did when I first drove it. Feels a bit more realistic, I think. Oh yeah, this feels a lot grippier. Yeah, this definitely doesn't feel bad. I really liked it on track when I drove it last, too. And this is even better. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm driving a black one this time, it's because the game keeps giving me these things. I've got 3 F-Types now. Okay, I'm just sort of taking it easy on the first lap, getting a feel for the car. So yeah, I really like the F-Type. A lot of power, very easy to get into trouble with it. But if you're careful, this thing really drives like it weighs 1,000 pounds less. It's a very well set up car. Lexus has got to be pretty darn good if it wants to outrun this. It's one thing to have a powerful car, it's another thing entirely to be able to put that power down. And this thing can put the power down. And given how much power it has, that Lexus is at quite a disadvantage. So, that's the F-Type. Let's see what the Lexus can do. So, the Lexus LC500. Let's see what you got. Well, from the spec sheet I can tell you this has a lot less horsepower. That one almost 100 horsepower. And weighs quite a bit more. I was about to look at my notepad, but I think I should concentrate on driving. It sounds really nice. I don't think it's quite as nice as that F-Type though. I might not get to use all 10 of these gears. I was kind of hoping with the 10 gears they'd all be sort of stacked close together, but that does not appear to be the case. It's kind of pointless to have a 10-speed in a car when you don't plan on using all those gears. Like, I think I was doing this in third in the F-Type. This thing is... I'm fighting it constantly at the tail end. It's got a surprising amount of grip at the front, but it's just not good. This is no LFA. Not even close. That thing was designed to be as good as a car could be. This thing is... I'm gonna be... well, to put it kindly, this is not really a track car. This is a GT car. I could tell it's got soft suspension, loads of weight, loads of leather. And while there's certainly power, it's just not at the same level as that Jag. It does accelerate though. I will say, it definitely can move. Now, just because I'm saying it's not as good as the Jag does not mean this is a bad car. This thing handles remarkably well for how much it weighs. It's almost comparable to the Jag in terms of the way it can handle. I'll bet with the stiffer suspension setup, this thing could be comparable to the F-Type. The problem is not necessarily the car, it's the company that made it. They wanted more of a Grand Touring car as their Halo car, so... Well, it looks like a supercar. I don't think this is gonna... Yeah, I don't think this is gonna give the F-Type a run for its money. But... who knows? We'll put them out on the clock and see what happens. Well, you heard me from the past. Let's put these things on track and see what happens. So, as expected, the F-Type won. But the interesting thing about that is how little it won by. I believe it was about a second in it, and really looking at the specs, that should have been about 5 seconds behind. So why is that? Well, simple fact is, if you go back and look, I'm fighting with the F-Type through the corners. I do love how it drives, but sometimes the back has a tendency to step out when I don't want it to, and I had that happen a couple times on my fast lap. The Lexus, on the other hand, was just well behaved. I could place it through the corners, and I could apply power early, and while that 10 speed didn't really give me a massive advantage, it still did help the car accelerate when it needed to. So yeah, the F-Type wins, but the Lexus LC500 is definitely a great car. If both these cars weighed the same, I'd be willing to bet that the Lexus might even be quicker than the F-Type. But who knows, maybe that's something for another video. Alright, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye!